Welcome back to the NBA show. Or actually, welcome back to the Jackson Ostro show. My name is Jackson, and this is my show. I'm just kidding. But Cyro is currently live at Studio 9A in Rockefeller Plaza. So it's a solo stream, and this is actually the first one on this channel. So we're going to see if this is a long-term move until Cyro stops being lame and graduates from college, or at least gets his college schedule a little bit more on track. So we're probably going to do a quick episode here today if anybody is watching after hours, after live. And we're going to just go through a couple of teams. We have the Lakers, Clippers, Grizzlies, Pacers, Heat, and Bucks. We got 6 teams to do today. Sheesh. All right, who's first? All right, we're going to do the Los Angeles Lakers. But give me just a second. I'm going to wait for some people to pull in here if anyone is stopping by. And yeah, man, we're out here live in Chicago. My new home, Fort Myers, is being, from what I can see on Twitter, it's just being completely decimated. So I don't really know if my car is going to make it. Let's get rid of this for a second. I don't know if my car is going to make it. The apartment should be fine because it's pretty new, but my dad and I got a bunch of family south of Tampa, and they're sending me all their videos, and it doesn't look fun. It definitely does not look fun. In fact, it looks quite shitty, to be real with you. So we're going to find the Zinnies. No water, no prep today. And we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get right into it. All right. Now, I'm the clipper of these streams. And that actually has no role in today's show. So let's take a look at the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, the Los Angeles Lakers they made a bunch of good moves. You went out there, you recently signed Dennis Schroeder, 3-5 player. You recently traded for Patrick Beverley. You also picked up Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown Jr., JTA, Damian Jones, Thomas Bryant. So I feel like the Lakers did a phenomenal job, actually, of just kind of addressing their needs. Now, they didn't have much to work with at the start of the offseason, and I think with everything fit, I feel like they did a really good job. Given the cards that were in their hand, they definitely made use of it. So, for me, this big thing with the Los Angeles Lakers really is just staying healthy. I don't think it boils down to anything else. I think that Russell Westbrook is perfectly fine. I don't think there will be any Russell Westbrook issues on this roster this upcoming season. And even if there are, you have a bunch of different moves you could make. I would imagine Miles Turner is going to be traded relatively soon, 100,000% by the start of the trade deadline. Now, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, I actually saw a report today that the Dallas Mavericks are trying to make a trade for him. So I don't know if they're trying to make a trade for both of those two guys and Jay Crowder. If that were to happen, watch out for the Dallas Mavericks. But on my Lakers channel, I talk a lot about possibly getting Jay Crowder. I'm not quite sure how they would actually make that happen. I think, unfortunately, the Jay Crowder train to Los Angeles it's probably going to get blocked. But Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, they're still out there on the market. But like I said, I think it'll all be fine with Russ. Russ said he wants to have an MVP season here, and he definitely has the health. Played 78 games for the Lakers last season. If you're the Lakers, you need to stay healthy. That's first and foremost, particularly LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you get over 60 games played with both LeBron and AD, your team really should be fine. You should be fine. Now, if you really want to make a postseason run, or if you really want to get into more, finals threat, they are a finals threat. But if you really want to kind of solidify that, I need something from Austin Reeves. I feel like Austin Reeves last season, it wasn't always great. He would catch fire at times, but I'm curious to see what the starting lineup's going to be. I'm curious to see what this closing lineup's going to be. I do have concerns with their forwards. I don't think that they have too much forward depth when we're talking about, small forward power forward, there's not too many options. I mean, you do have Troy Brown Jr., you do have JTA. However, I'm not quite sure how much they're really going to be able to impact this basketball team. So, really, it boils down to health. If you are healthy, you will be a top 6 seed. If you are healthy, you will have a chance to make a finals run. It's just going to boil down to health to me. So, all right, next up, I think we have the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I know we're only a couple minutes into this, but I got to say, I don't like this. A solo show? Not really vibing with it. Maybe it's because nobody is watching, which also gets me going. But anyways, the Los Angeles Clippers. Cyro and I both have talked a lot about how the Los Angeles Clippers probably on paper have the best roster in the entire NBA. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And just like the Los Angeles Lakers, the number one component to this team's success is going to come down to health. And it's going to come down to health with guys named Paul, Kawhi, and I would also throw in John. However, I don't think John's as important to stay healthy. If you have a fully healthy John Wall, we're going to see if he's on not a minutes restriction, but we're going to see if he plays back-to-back. We're going to see if they try to load manage him just to keep him fresh for the playoffs, keep him fresh for a playoff run. You also have Terrence Mann, Xavier Moon, Reggie Jackson, who can help fill in when necessary. But, Kawhi and Paul, the last 3 seasons, really, they haven't stayed healthy. They really just haven't stayed healthy. So when they were healthy, we saw them lose in 7 to Denver, which was very unfortunate because I think in that COVID bubble year, we all wanted to see Kawhi Leonard, the Los Angeles Clippers against LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. But unfortunately, we didn't see that. They lost in 7, and then the next year, they were even more improved. They were even better, and that's where you had Kawhi Leonard get injured in the playoffs. And they actually they lost in 6 to the Phoenix Suns to get into the NBA Finals. So that should just kind of be a little bit of a presser there. Is the season Kawhi and Paul were healthy, they took down Dallas in 7. They took down Utah, and I think 5 or 6. And without Kawhi, keep that in mind. And then they lost in 6 to the Phoenix Suns, who were pretty much a win away. And not necessarily a win away, but they were right there to win the NBA Finals. So you just got to stay healthy, man. Last year should be enough where you look at it and you're like, all right, Paul played 30 games. Kawhi didn't play at all season. And they still made the play-in tournament in a deeply competitive Western Conference. And I think some of the moves they made towards the deadline where you're picking up guys like Norman Powell, you're picking up guys like Robert Covington, I think that was beautifully set up for this upcoming season. Beautifully set up. I mean, this is a team that they're deeper than 10, man. Look at it. They're deeper than 10 players. Let's count it. Reggie 1, Paul 2, Batum 3, Morris 4, Zubats 5. You got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This seems 13 deep. They're 13 deep. So Los Angeles, you just got to stay healthy. But really, it comes down to just Kawhi and Paul George's health. I mean, Batum, Morris, Zubats, Reggie, Terrence, Coffey, Powell, Covington, they're all phenomenal role players. They all do their job terrifically well. So Los Angeles, I think they're going to be a powerhouse, man. I would definitely be worried if I was in the Western Conference because I think I made this prediction sometime last week. Los Angeles Clippers, I think they had the best offseason possible. I think that they are the best team on paper, and I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see how the load management goes in the regular season, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs. So a lot of good things coming for the Los Angeles Clippers. Next up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. It just feels so weird doing this without Cyro, man. Now, I'm not a big Memphis Grizzlies fan. I feel like that's worded wrong. It's not that I'm not a Memphis Grizzlies fan. I have a lot of concerns. To me, the Memphis Grizzlies are a playing team. Unless you have guys like Cyro Williams just take those leaps, which is definitely possible. This is a good depth roster. However, Triple J injured. You lost Kyle Anderson. You lost D'Anthony Melton. Those are two critical players on your defense and offense. But they're still a good defensive team. Their starting five is still very solid defensively. Now, I would imagine that we'll see more Brandon Clark than Steven Adams probably throughout the whole season, but especially like we saw in the playoffs where Steven Adams was almost unplayable. I think we're going to see a huge increase in production from Brandon Clark. So I think he's a critical player. Danny Green, I'm not quite sure what the word's going to be with Danny Green because he's coming back from a torn ACL. So I don't even think he'll play at all this entire season. But don't be surprised if Dylan Brooks gets shipped off either. He's a great two-way player, 18-3-3, but they want to take that leap. They might have to make some moves. The long-term success of this team in this season, a finals run, a playoff run, is going to boil down to health, like every team, I guess, excuse me, and the bench. I have many issues with this bench. However, Tyus Jones, John Concher, Zaire Williams, Brandon Clark, Xavier Tillman, Killian Tilly, and especially Santi Aldama that Cyro is very big on, they're good. They're solid. It's just going to come down to, can they produce for your basketball team? So Memphis, I think they'll probably be somewhere between the 5 and 6 seed. However, with the ascending John Morant and a fully healthy John Morant at 27, 6, and 7, barely into the NBA, anything really is possible when you have a player to that caliber. He can win you almost every single basketball game, or at least keep you into every single basketball game. So somebody's going to have to step up on this team. I anticipate Desmond Bane is going to continue to elevate. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up hitting 20 points per game this upcoming season. And Triple J, man, he's just got to stay healthy. If you have a healthy Triple J going into the playoffs, it just completely levels up your basketball team, completely levels it up. So next up, we have the Indiana Pacers. We'll go to the Indiana Pacers. Still nobody is watching this except me. We've got one viewer, and that one viewer is me, so I can see which teams are next, but very unfortunate. Maybe we'll play a game of Purtle at the end. I haven't been live by myself in quite some time. However, let's talk Indiana. All right, Indiana to me is the worst team in the MLB. They're the worst team in the league. However, it's not the end of the world. If you're the Indiana Pacers, I'm committing a full rebuild. That's where I'm headed towards. Miles Turner will be traded at some point. If he doesn't, I would be completely shocked if Miles Turner doesn't get traded at some point in this season or even before the start of the season. Same thing goes with Buddy Hield, super solid veteran presence that I would imagine veteran teams, experienced teams, playoff teams, they're going to be calling about both of those two cats, and they already have. They've been calling all offseason. They've been calling for the last 3 seasons. It's just going to come down to, if I'm Indiana, it depends on what team is offering me the trade, but one first-round pick, that might be all you get there. Now, there's a lot of young talent that is ascending, obviously, with Tyrese Halliburton. You have Benedict Mathurin down here. Can't wait to see how both of those two cats play. Chris Duarte coming into his second season. Hopefully, I think Buddy Hield will get traded. So hopefully that opens up a lot more playing time for Chris Duarte. But one thing we saw in the summer league last year with Chris that we eventually saw head into the regular season was, he was the oldest player drafted, if I'm not mistaken, and he's ready to go. He's already ready to go. So people forget a lot about Chris Duarte for some reason, probably just due to his age. He's already 25 years old, just turned 25 this summer. So I think Chris Duarte will have a nice season. Wouldn't be surprised if guys like TJ McConnell, Langston Galloway end up getting traded. But that other player, or the other 3 players, if you want to throw Goga in there, are Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith was a player as a Houston Rocket guy. I really wanted the Houston Rockets to make a trade for Jalen Smith at some point in the season. The Indiana Pacers completely fleeced the Phoenix Suns acquiring him. He is a very solid player. But with both Jalen and Isaiah, they're good on the defensive end. It just comes down to quit fouling. Just quit fouling. Please quit fouling. Then there's some nice, intriguing pieces. Guys like Terry Taylor, O'Shea Brissett, Aaron Nesmith, they're enticing players, and maybe at least one of them ends up taking that jump. We'll wait and see on that regard. Who do we have left? The Miami Heat. I feel like Cyro and I should do a deeper dive on all these basketball teams tomorrow, but we'll wait and see. I know he wants to get them done all in the same week. Miami, I have huge issues, just like the Memphis Grizzlies, but a little bit different. I think Kyle Lowry really showed in the playoffs that this might be the last season of a very efficient Kyle Lowry. He's 36 years old. He'll be turning 37 towards the end of the season. They have decisions they got to make about Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero as well. But thing is, Kyle Lowry, 13-5-8, he should still be perfectly okay in the regular season. And you have Tyler Hero, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Bam Adebayo. You also re-signed Victor Oladipo, who's a very nice piece when he's healthy, and it looks like he's fully healthy in Miami. So that's good. I won't go as far to say as this is a play-in team because they're very well coached. There's just too much talent on this roster to be a play-in team. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. However, in order for that to happen, an injury to Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler, or maybe even Tyler Hero, but probably Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo, if this team was a play-in team, one of those guys probably got hurt for an extended period of time. So I have them somewhere between 5 and 6. I don't have good playoff hopes for them. I think they need to figure something out about the point guard position, or maybe a better word choice would be, this is, like I said, this is probably the last year with a turning 37-year-old Kyle Lowry that he's going to be your starting point guard. And this might, I'm not saying the window's closing because you have a lot of young talent there, but they're going to either have to see or figure out, okay, will Gabe Vincent be ready to take that step? Will he be our long-term starter, or come free agency or come trade deadline? Or are we going to have to figure something out, figure somebody else out to pair with Kyle Lowry or to replace Kyle Lowry? So I think Gabe Vincent's a phenomenal basketball player, and he hit a really solid season as a role player. So I think he'll see more of an extended role like we saw towards the end of the season and come playoff time. But I don't know, man. They paid Duncan a lot of money. It's going to be difficult to get rid of Duncan. And as we saw LeBron James, or him talk about playing LeBron James in that bubble finals, was every time he was out on the court, LeBron would quite literally point at him and be like, switch. We need to get a switch. So Duncan's on me. So I view Duncan Robinson as a negative asset. However, a contending team that has some money, or they have an expiring contract that they're looking to unload or something, maybe you could get Duncan Robinson onto a contender, or maybe you could get him onto a worser team with a protected first in return for him. It's just a tough situation that I don't really see ending well. However, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, they'll run through the regular season, and they're always going to be a threat in the playoffs. As long as they're healthy, they're always going to be a threat. I just don't think that they have enough power on their roster to end up winning it all. So next up we have this is already the end, the Milwaukee Bucks. We're very ahead of schedule, and Bucks had interest in trading for Jeremy Grant. So Milwaukee, my take on Milwaukee is, if they were fully healthy, if Chris Middleton was healthy last year in the playoffs, if he didn't get injured, I do think the Milwaukee Bucks make it back to the NBA Finals. I don't think that they take down the Golden State Warriors, but I do think they would have made it back to at least have the opportunity to defend their crown, because Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's one of the most powerful yet somehow underrated big threes in the entire league. You did retain Bobby Portis. Wouldn't be surprised if Brook Lopez ends up getting traded. You did get Serge Ibaka. However, he's really old, so I don't know. And he's not going to have too big of an impact. They just recently retained Jordan Nwora. Do expect him to see extended run this upcoming season. But they have a lot of nice pieces. Guys like Joe Ingles, recent addition. George Hill. You got Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen. People have concerns with their shooting guard position as far as defense goes. However, let's say the starting lineup is going to be your closing lineup in the playoffs. As bad of a defender as Grayson Allen is, I think with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Bobby Portis out there at the same time, I do think you have enough defense, even if Pat Connaughton came in at the shooting guard position, or even maybe Jordan Nwora. I don't think Joe Ingles will get the final nod to close out games, but I guess we'll wait and see. That's really all I have to say about the Milwaukee Bucks. This is a very interesting stream. I'll look up Hurdle. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, let me show this. Also, got to give a lot of credit to Cyro for being kind of our producer, because it's quite difficult. Oh, honestly, this looks like Chris Paul. However, those earlobes are kind of interesting. We'll go ahead and guess Chris Paul. I don't think it is going to be Chris Paul. It's not in the West. It's not Damian Lillard, which was going to be my other guess, although it doesn't really look like Chris Paul or Damian Lillard. What position is he? He's a guard. All right, there we go. Taller than 6 feet. Who isn't in the NBA, but the answer isn't PJ Tucker, but he's on the Sixers. This guy's on the Sixers. Not this again. This guy plays for the Sixers. Is that Kyrie? Why am I thinking Kyrie's on the Philadelphia 76ers? It's not James Harden. That's not Joel Embiid. Well, it's not Matisse Thybulle. Smaller than... Oh, that's right. He's a guard. Shit, dude. We're going to cheat to save some face here. Wait, no. We're not going to cheat. But we'll have it there in the back anyways, just in case. As this waits. All right. This is a guard. He appears to be bald. Or a little bit of hair. I do think the answer is Shake Milton. And it's not. So he's smaller. He's younger than Shake. Is this Tyrese Maxey? Come on. What? He has all the same attributes as Tyrese Maxey, but it's not Tyrese Maxey. Oh, it's Anthony Melton. Okay. Well, I still think that took too many, but man, that's it. I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this. So Cyro and I have to figure something out, whether we go live at night, which might be a move, although his Wednesdays are pretty doggy. I gotta try and find an interim host. Maybe if we had more than one viewer, the stream would be a little bit different. But I'll have to see when I rewatch this after the show and cringe probably at myself doing this solo. Whoa, we got 3 viewers in here now. So that's the show. That's the end of the show. So if you watch this after live, or if you're live watching this, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, be a friend and tell a friend. We're on Twitter at the NBA Show YT. And yeah, if I had to give myself a grade for this, I'd pass myself. I'd give myself like a C. So definitely not ideal here, but maybe we'll see if there's actually any rumors going on. Now that we're peaking at 3 viewers. All right, what do we got? Nikola Vucevic on trade rumors. I didn't pay much attention to it. Good call. Anthony Davis says poor shooting last season was due to undisclosed wrist injury. Feels great now. Let's go. He did shoot horribly last season. He's going to need to get that number starting with a 3 from downtown if you want to see any success. Grimes is in a boot. TBJ and Lonnie Walker are working their way back from injury, and Schroeder's got visa issues. Okay. Yeah, Davion Mitchell's got that dog in him. Yeah, so no news really today in the NBA world. So thank you for watching. That's it. And I'll see you guys later.